With Neama Rahmani, former U.S. federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Neama, good to get your thoughts on this. The BBC has apologized, as Sean has sort of laid out, and clarified why it doesn't think it has a case to answer. Do you think that's going to be enough to put this to bed?
I don't think it's going to be enough, but the BBC does have some defenses. And like Sean mentioned, defamation law is certainly more favorable to the plaintiff than it is here in the United States. But in the UK, the statute of limitations is only 1 year. So we're talking about a 2022 episode and a 2024. So the statutes run. In Florida, it's a 2 year statute of limitations, so the president can certainly file there. But like Sean mentioned, Steve, the threshold is higher here because of the First Amendment and the fact that the president is a public figure. He would have to prove malice. That means the BBC knew the statement was false or acted in reckless disregard for the truth. So that is a higher legal hurdle. Obviously, he has home court advantage here in Florida, probably a more favorable jury. Obviously, there's no jury system in the UK, but there is that challenge to proving defamation under American law.
Does the fact that the clip in question never played in the United States and only was available in the UK have any bearing on this?
Absolutely, Steve. That's an important jurisdictional question. So expect the BBC to argue that there was actually no defamatory statement in the United States. And to the extent that it was played in the UK, the statute is run. So whether you need a VPN or some other way to access that Panorama episode, that's going to be a critical jurisdictional factor. So if and when the president does file, expect a motion to dismiss by BBC's lawyers.
Now, we've seen the president take similar action against other news organizations as well in the past. What does President Trump want in particular with regards to this lawsuit then?
I don't think this is about money necessarily. This is about sending a message to the BBC and other major media outlets who the president thinks have treated him unfairly. And you're right, he did go after Paramount and CBS for their edit of the Kamala Harris 60 Minutes interview, and Disney, ABC, and George Stephanopoulos for Stephanopoulos calling him a rapist instead of someone who was found liable for sexual assault. Both of those cases settled for $16 and $15 million respectively. So even though the president is asking for $1 billion, expect a similar settlement when this case is filed, probably somewhere in the 10 to 20 million range, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how or what happens next. I mean, the BBC is funded by license fee payers, so it's very different to other news organizations in that regard. In talking about what happens next, though, how do you think Trump is going to respond? I mean, we're yet to see a response from him.
I think the response will be in the courtroom, and the president has been very litigious when it comes to these types of cases. Expect a lawsuit, but I don't think this case is going to go all the way to trial. Cooler heads will prevail. Obviously, we've already seen an apology by the BBC, multiple resignations. They'll cut a check, and like you said, fortunately, the British taxpayers are probably going to be on the hook for it, but I would expect this case to settle and not go all the way to trial. It's not the type of case that should or will.
All right, Neama, thanks very much for your thoughts and your insight. Appreciate your time with us. Neama Rahmani, former U.S. federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers.